Christmas has dawned as a day of peace for American soldiers in Vietnam, and there have been no reports of fighting 1 hour after the 12-hour truce set by the Communist Viet Cong. The American 30-hour ceasefire is still in effect. The Christian world is celebrating the birth of Christ, the Prince of Peace. The sounds of Christmas can be heard, with happy children opening gifts, church bells, and choirs singing. Thousands of pilgrims gathered at the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem for the solemn services marking the birth of Christ. A Roman Catholic midnight mass was celebrated in the church above the rock-hewn stable where Joseph and Mary took shelter. Church bells pealed and voices were raised in song. In Berlin, some 20,000 West Berliners crossed through the ugly red wall of concrete and barbed wire that spreads like a scar across the city. They had special passes from the communist East German government. But in the rest of West Germany, many families placed candles in the windows for relatives in East Germany prevented from attending reunions in the West. Pope Paul offered Mass for diplomats from all parts of the world to celebrate the birth of Christ. The pontiff told the diplomats assembled in the Sistine Chapel that divine love could unite mankind. The Pope's sermon avoided any reference to Vietnam or other world trouble spots. He spoke of the mystery of the incarnation, of God becoming man, and the civilizing influence of Christianity. 3 persons were killed and about 30 were injured in a fire which swept the Military Park Hotel in Newark, New Jersey late today. Scores of guests were saved by fire ladders and by a rescue platform. Officials said the fire apparently started in Christmas decorations in the lobby of the 12-story building. The death toll on the nation's highways for the Christmas weekend has risen to 190. 12 persons were killed when a bus skidded on a patch of ice and turned over near Medford, Oregon. 5 Californians are listed dead in the accident. They include Albert Lewis of Rolling Hills and Margaret Moore of Claremont. 21-year-old Robert Moore of Claremont, a Coast Guardsman, was injured. He is in fair condition in a Grants Pass hospital. A snowstorm centered in Missouri is moving toward the upper Great Lakes. The Weather Bureau has issued snow and hazardous driving warnings from Kansas to the northern Great Lakes. Rain is falling in the warm and moist air ahead of the Midwest storm. Another storm is moving through the northwest and is producing locally heavy rain and snow. Heavy snow warnings have been issued for northwest Montana and northern Idaho. Travel warnings have been posted in the Sierra Nevada mountain ranges and in the northern California mountains. Martin Luther King says the most urgent problems facing the United States this Christmas are war and racial injustice. The civil rights leader said in Atlanta that there have been revolutionary changes in Southern racial patterns, faster changes than he thought possible 10 years ago. Nearly 500 Negroes marched peacefully through Fayette, Mississippi, in a Christmas Eve protest against racial discrimination. Under orders from Governor Paul Johnson, 60 state highway patrolmen stood guard to maintain order. The Negroes later gathered in a park for prayers and a rally. A similar march scheduled for Natchez was called off because of rain. Police in Bogalusa, Louisiana, turned back a civil rights protest march today because of heavy Christmas Eve traffic. The marchers were prevented from reaching City Hall for reasons of traffic safety. Here's a news note for housewives. A record high price of $31.25 per hundredweight was paid for 23 hogs at the National Stockyards in Illinois. That means that sooner or later, the prices of ham and bacon probably will rise even higher. Los Angeles County Sheriff's officers at the Firestone substation report that a 22-year-old woman threatened them with a rifle early today. Mrs. Patricia Peffley reportedly was unhappy because deputies had failed to arrest her husband during a family argument earlier. So many couples turned up to be married today at the Los Angeles County Courthouse that the judge on duty decided the most practical procedure would be to marry them en masse. So, 29 of the couples were married at one time. The forecaster says Christmas Day will be bright and cold in Southern California, except for some variable cloudiness at times. There's a chance of rain in Santa Barbara and Ventura late tomorrow night and Sunday. In downtown Los Angeles, the low tonight should be about 42 and the high tomorrow near 63. And no smog is forecast. That's the news up to this moment. Tom Dixon reporting. Next KFAC News at 5:25. Now let's listen to music on Sunset Serenade. Music